Hi again. Firstly, thanks for joining the webinar. So today we'll be speaking about how agentic systems are transforming the hiring in this time and age, and how organizations are moving from automation in recruitment to autonomous talent acquisition. Really keen to hear from all of you and then share our thoughts and our insights that we have observed in the industry so far. With that, I would like to start with a quick set of ground rules or the overlay of the session. So we'll be spending close to 20 minutes discussing about what are the different trends that we have seen, what are the transformations and changes that we have seen in the hiring space. Post that, we would like to just give a short brief about what we have been doing in this space, and then we will open up the remaining time for Q&A so that we would be able to get ample time to interact and address the questions which you have. With that, I'll start with quick round of introductions. Rishi, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rishi. Please excuse my voice. I've had a bad throat for the last week or so. I run the Agentic AI business at Prismforce, and here we are rethinking all the AI agents that recruitment teams need and use in some shape or form to improve how they recruit people. This might include everything from stack ranking candidates who applied to using an AI agent to voice screen them, AI video interviews. We are building AI scheduling agents, talent rediscovery from within your applicant tracking system. And especially if you do technical hiring, we are building a whole range of auxiliary products within our AI video interview, including, a debugging interface, vibe coding, and so on. We'd love to field questions from all of you. Most of you are practitioners and have been doing this for years. Just a little bit of background on me. I've been in recruitment tech for over a decade, having spent time with Findem, which is a Bay Area-based startup. I was the chief business officer at Monster, India and APAC, and now at Prismforce for the last year. I'll be requesting my colleague Saketh to do a lot of the talking, given where I am. But we'd love for this to be an interactive session. So please ask questions as and when. And I know you probably do have a lot of questions. We'd also love to hear about any products or tools you've used or are currently using, and any feedback that you may have with respect to those. Over to you, Saketh.
Thanks, Rishi. A quick brief about myself. So I'm Saketh. So I'm currently operating as director GTM at Prismforce. Before that, I was part of the product team for the last 5 years. And I have been working in the talent management or the internal talent transformation space for close to 5 years. Before that, I have worked in the G2C space where I have built applications for citizens to use, especially for the services provided by the government. That's a brief about me. With that, we'll move forward quickly. Yeah. Just to set the context, we wanted to brief about who we are and what Prism Force does. Rishi, over to you to give a quick brief. Yeah.
Right, so we've been around for 5 years, and over the last 5 years, we worked with a lot of enterprises in multiple areas. A lot of that has to do with employees, understanding their skills, deploying them more effectively within projects, helping them plan their career and learning, right? And over the last year, we've also been doing a lot of AI video interviews. We're currently contracted to do close to 80,000 interviews this year, of which we've done over 15,000, and we'd be happy to share some of our learnings from there as well. A lot of these companies you will be familiar with, big names, large companies with, very high demands on the acquisition side. Most of them carry out between 50,000 to maybe 4 5 lakh interviews every year, and that's a significant number. And to carry out anything at that scale, it becomes progressively more and more difficult if you're using humans to do those interviews. We'd like for humans to focus on areas that matter the most, which include, engaging with candidates, selling the role to candidates, as opposed to, doing screening interviews or scheduling time where the hiring manager can interview them, right? But we'll tell you more as we go along.
Yes. So this is a quick snapshot of various products that we have. While today's focus is not going to be on these products, we would love to like share the insights that we have seen in hiring space. Just thought of giving a quick glimpse of the products that we have. The first product with which we operate is Skill Prism, which is an AI-led skill management system, which maps the skills of all the internal employees in your organization and provides appropriate focus areas in terms of their individual development plans and the career paths. The second product which we have is Career Prism and Learn Prism, using which employees would be able to visualize their journey in the organization and fine tune the learnings which they want to do specific to their aspirations. And on the other side, we have IntelliPrism, which is our talent marketplace, which gives an option for employees to apply for IJPs or also for the resource managers to find the right employees for the specific project. We have Outlook Prism, which kind of forecasts and identifies the hiring demands that you might face in the next quarter or the couple of quarters. This would be built based on the historical hiring trends and the attrition trends, along with the growth aspects. Two of our latest additions are a AI Quotient platform, which kind of baselines your current roles and employees in the organization and gives you clear, actionable insights in terms of what areas do they need to improve in order to be AI ready for the future. The other product which we have is Selectism, which is an AI-led talent evaluation tool, which does end-to-end automation around hiring, starting from the resume matching to the pre-screening and the AI video interviews. We'll be showing you a quick glimpse of this during the call, but the majority of time we'll be spending on sharing our learnings and insights from the market and the players. Yeah. With that, I'll jump into one quick aspect in terms of how we have seen the hiring practices have been changing historically and how they have accelerated in the last 2 years, especially, right? So if you look at the key landscape movements, right? From the advent of LLMs, probably from 2022 to 24, there was a significant ramp up where it was touching very specific high tech sectors. But from the mid 2023 onwards, we have seen it expanding to every space, every single space, right? Just to give example of some critical data points that we have observed, uh, typically we have a pyramid structure in most of the organizations where a bulk of hiring is done at the entry or junior levels, and then it's squeezes as it goes up. But one thing which we have observed is a significant amount of tasks or the activities that can be carried out by the junior employees are being automated, whether it be using Copilot or system agents or computer agents, right? And this has shrink the L1 base drastically. And further, on adding to this, the skills half-life, which used to be around 5 years or slightly longer, right, has significantly reduced to uh, 2 years. Because, for example, there are certain skills, like including something like prompt engineering, which was very prominent 2 years back, is becoming a very common skill now. So the skills half-life is crashing drastically. What this would mean from a hiring point of view is by the time you hire someone with a specific skill, the skill might not actually be in use to that extent by the time they join or by the time they ramp up in the organization. So that's where we need to improve drastically, where we move away from just JD based hiring and move more towards the skill and aptitude based hiring. In addition to this, there are several new roles that are emerging on a daily basis. Within the last 18 months, there are roles which came up and which are in high demand right now that were never heard of. Just for example, FDs was something which was not heard of like close to 12 months back or 18 months back, but that's one of the hottest roles in the organizations right now. Similarly, AI system architects or AI test engineers, where they operate under uncertainties. All these are the new types of roles that are coming up. And with the way the AI is operating and the agentic systems are handling, Candidates are able to apply to multiple companies in a single go. They have systems or agents in place which will go and apply right on the day one when a job opens. This kind of gives them an option to have multiple interviews in parallel or multiple opportunities in parallel, due to which the offer to join ratio has been slipping as well. We have seen it to be close to 60 to 70% of late. Yeah. And as I mentioned, some of the roles are changing. There are new roles that are coming up, and there are few roles which are transforming. So, just to take examples of each of them, uh, I mean, a lot of you would be familiar with how the L1 support is being handled for e-commerce or quick commerce platforms, where almost the human interaction has been reduced to 1 to 2%, where a lot of it is being processed using runbooks or the help desks, right? Similarly, the L1 production support for applications has also reduced drastically. Such roles are being massively impacted by AI. And similarly, manual QA, where a lot of the test generation or the test case generation is automated based on the code using several agents that are there. So these would be the areas where the volume of hiring is critically reducing. But it's not that the overall hiring has slowed down. So overall hiring is shifting to certain roles which are in the emerging or transforming sector. The roles such as RAG architects or AI solution architects, which are not heard of earlier, have been in very high demand, and these are net new roles or net new demand that is adding up. Along with that, there are few roles which are transforming. A typical QA engineer who was writing test cases against predictable systems are having to uh, upskill themselves to become eval engineers or predictive QAs, where they understand the intricacies or challenges of working with LLMs and understand that there would be a scope of uncertainty, and then work around that. So in that way, certain roles are transforming as well. And typically, a role like solution architect or software engineer are transforming to FTEs as well, as a very popular example. So, what would this mean for us as recruiters or as TA teams? The panels need to evaluate the skills in a different manner. The JDs have to be rewritten or written more holistically. And for some of these roles, we might not have set up the screening rubrics as well. So we cannot use an age-old playbook for this. We have to evolve and we have to transform rapidly. Just to give an example, what we have done is I've broken down the hiring cycle that is there, a typical hiring cycle, and mentioning at various places where AI has played a massive role in changing the ways. Starting from sourcing, where traditionally candidates were coming onto the portals or job portals to apply. Now all of them have centralized agents where they can apply in a single go. And in addition, they would not want to fill a long form on the career portal. A lot of them are shifting to voice-based applications as well. And typically, we do resume matching, which is carried out by the recruiters, or in some cases, it is done using keywords. Now, that's no longer effective because everyone's resume is being written by AI, and which is resembling the job description to the closest possible extent. So we need to be aware of what they have genuinely done and what are the skills they have experience in. And further on the screening side, a lot of Gen Z population or the new age population, as we can say, they are preferring to have conversations with AI first rather than humans, because it would be comfortable with them. They can respond to the questions at the time when they are comfortable with, rather than taking the calls during their work hours. Followed by that, assessments is another big division where AI has made a massive dent. AI-led video interviews or voice interviews, where the scheduling is taken out of the box and the candidates can take the assessment or the interview at their own convenience. Similarly, the offer and join segment is also being transformed, where all the documentation or the acceptance are being automated, where they will have to submit minimal documents as well. And we also have predictive engines which will estimate whether the candidate is likely to join or not based on their interaction throughout the cycle. And the final piece where we are seeing background verification to be right over there is, in case of background verification, the comparison of videos that are captured throughout different stages of the interviews are also being considered. and are being validated at the end of the process, right? With these changes, there are few things which are getting impacted or which broke actually. Now, as every resume is bloated with keywords, bloated with skills that are required from a job description perspective, around 60 to 80% of them provide as perfect match. So this makes it very difficult for recruiters or the hiring teams to actually understand who are the better candidates based on resume. And with the number of with the shrinkage in the entry level roles or the junior level roles, the panels which are needed to carry out L1 interviews are seeking senior practitioners as well, where a senior employee or a senior software engineer or a solution architect is having to come for the first round of interview. This would cause a significant impact on both the project delivery and also the panel availability, which is increasing the time to L1 interview, what we call it as TTL1, right? And from a candidate point of view, uh, we have noticed that 4 in 10 candidates are using some form of AI during the interview while it is not allowed, whether it be in terms of like using AI assistants for coding or AI assistants for answering the questions or in several ways. These are very difficult to catch in the regular interviews that we do. There are few organizations which have gone back to in-person hiring because of this, but that's something which might not scale across the globe. So we should be prepared in terms of how do we handle these situations. And with the way the demand is changing and the skills are changing, the businesses are requesting for faster fulfillment and faster hiring cycles, or rather on top of the traditional ones, right? Now, so far we have spent some time about understanding what are the trends that are out there. I'll just spend a moment on quick statistics about how they are reflecting over, right? So, if you have to categorize how automation to autonomy is transforming in the hiring space, and we have to keep it in 4 to 5 levels, the stage one would be a complete manual setup where there is no system, everything is run on Excels or spreadsheets. While this can sustain for hiring at lower volumes or when the organization is at initial stages, as the organization scales, everyone needs a system or a process. So that's where it will break. I think what I can say is we are typically around L1 or L2 stage, where most of the organizations have an ATS or a CRM in place to carry out the hiring process. Along with that, they have certain rules or workflows built on top of it. While this is the typical stage where we have seen organizations be at, what we have to aspire is to move towards the L4 stage or the L3. In case of L3, where L3 stage is where AI is being used in a fragmented manner, where there are specific solutions for resume shortlisting, specific solutions for creating questions or giving a quick summary, right? Whereas the L4 stage is where candidate will have a seamless experience and the hiring manager also has a seamless experience, right? Where the agents start from engaging with the candidate, reviewing their resume, identifying what are the questions to be asked based on their resume, collecting the feedback from the first round of interview, passing it on to the L2 panel, so that the communication between the panels is seamless and they know that they are being evaluated at different skill sets that are required for the job. That is what we would call as a orchestrated hiring journey. While there is a fifth stage where everything is autonomous with the agents running the entire system and humans handling the exceptions. But we strongly believe this is something which we have to avoid in a sensitive case like hiring. This is where we feel in the orchestrated stage is the ideal stage where AI or the agents help in running the show with the decision being still being taken by humans. And just to give a quick glimpse of it, uh, as of now, around 69% of the companies highlight that they are already using AI in some shape or the form in talent acquisition. But if we take a sharper lens and see how effective it is, right? Only 18% of the organizations are using AI across the hiring flow rather than just at one place. So the 69% stage of organizations are using one form of AI solution out of the 6 stages which we spoke about, and only 18% are using it across all of them, right? Further, out of this 18% as well, how many of them are actually visualizing the ROI of the system is falling down to 6%. Yeah. So these are the different interventions that we have seen where AI has come in and then really helped in improving the productivity. Starting with sourcing, where you would be able to visualize both your internal, external, and the past applications together so that you know better in terms of the candidate pool. And a conversational apply flow where the candidate would be able to apply through an easy conversation. Followed by that, AI-led L1 interviews, which frees up your senior panels or the has a varied set of skill set to evaluate the candidates. Skill specific MCQs, AI assisted coding or AI assisted interviewing, where an AI agent helps the interviewer in terms of what questions to ask, what areas to focus in the form of a co-pilot. And a closed loop with respect to quality of hiring, where the feedback across different stages, right from the interaction with the recruiter, interaction during the pre-screening, interaction during L1 interview, all of that is accumulated and gives a centralized quality of hiring score. Some of the core challenges that we have observed in the hiring is because of the way the AI is transforming and the candidates are applying to mass applications, right? Nowadays, like a single candidate can apply to close to 100 to 120 applications on one day, unlike the earlier days. So what happens is there is a very high volume of candidates that have to be assessed. And at the same time, we have to maintain the same consistency when we are reviewing the first candidate and the 100th candidate. So we have to ensure that there is a fair hiring practice. Followed by that, there are multiple roles against which a candidate can apply. They would not want to go to each of the role and then apply on the career portal. So how do we accurately match the candidate against the open roles? Followed by that, the interview scheduling and the coordination has to be seamless, where candidate would not have to map with the panel's availability multiple times and then revisit the schedules multiple times, right? And overall, another important aspect that bothers most of our teams is the recruiter productivity, where as of today, close to 40% of recruiters' time goes into coordinations and follow-ups, whereas only 60% goes into the active engagement with the candidate and their core tasks that are out there. This is one of the critical challenges that we have seen impacting and it also impacts the candidate drop-off rate as well. So just to give a glimpse of what we do at Select Prism and what is the approach that we have taken. So we have launched a suite of six specialized agents where each agent works in silo and at the same time they can talk to each other at the right interjection points, right? So the first agent that we have is a JD analysis agent, which breaks down the job description that is created and identifies what are the tasks that are expected to be carried out by the candidate and identifies the skills as well so that we clearly know what kind of questions and what to look out for in the candidates. Followed by that, we have resume matching. On an average, each job description gets close to 150 applications. So in order to effectively stack rank them or screen them, it becomes an impossible task for recruiters. Often they look at the first 30 candidates and then schedule the interviews among them. So in order to avoid that, we have our resume matching, which goes beyond keyword matching. It breaks down the job description, breaks down the resume of the candidate, and then specifically says what they are good at. Right. Then we have AI pre-screening, which checks with the candidate in terms of key highlights, like what is their expectation in terms of various aspects, whether it be salary or whether it be their location preference or whether it be their notice period. All of that is done in a seamless fashion as well. Then we have AI-led L1 interviews, which are video interviews, where an AI agent would be interacting with the candidates through and through. And finally, we have coding assessment. This would be more relevant for the technical roles where programming experience is needed. All of this happens in a seamless fashion. And the last one, which we have, is interview copilot, which is a real-time assistant and a guide to interviewers. Like, let's say, often the panel members hardly get 5 minutes to look at the candidate's resume, look at the past feedback, and prepare the questions which they want to ask. So what the Copilot does is it acts as an assistant during the interview and highlights what kind of questions can be asked. Based on these interventions, what we have observed across the clients that we are working with is for each candidate, we are able to save close to 80 minutes in terms of the recruiter's time and the panel members' time. We are able to achieve better L2 conversions. So if you interview 10 candidates, the likelihood of them clearing the L2 interviews is a lot higher because of an effective AI interview. And overall, it's reducing the recruitment costs as well. Why we see that we need a deep domain LLM rather than a generic LLM in order to especially solve this problem is that we have to review the job descriptions and get the true essence of it. So the way we do it is we have a skills intelligence platform which is trained on 60 million plus data points, which we'll be showing you in a short while. And we have verticalized knowledge graphs, whether it be for banking, IT services, technology, or manufacturing or healthcare. We have specific verticalized knowledge graphs for each of them, and which are run on structured LLMs as well. And hiring is a very sensitive aspect, and whatever agentic workflow that we build has to be foolproof and it should be enterprise ready. With the amount of compliances and the regulations that are coming around AI, we should ensure that each decision and each outcome that is being recommended by an AI agent is truly actionable and also auditable. So, in that way, we provide all the reports in a fair and transparent manner. And we are one of the few organizations who are ISO 42001 certified, which mandates us to use AI in a transparent and ethical manner. Yeah. Uh, just a quick glimpse of how the knowledge graph works. So each role is broken down into the key tasks that they have to do, and each task is associated with the skills that are needed to do the tasks, right? So we have mapped this across 40 plus industries across 2,500 roles, as you can see. And each of them have their own verticalized question banks that are out there. Right. With that, what I'll do is I've been speaking for close to 25 minutes. I'll just give a quick glimpse of what we can do on our platform in quick 5 minutes, and then we will open up the floor for more questions. Yeah, just give me a second. So the aspects that I would be focusing on while presenting is the quick overview of the search and match recommendations and a short glimpse of an AI interview. Followed by that, I'll be showing you the outcome of the AI interview. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen again. Yeah. For all the candidates who have applied against the job description, their resumes will be qualified, and as you can see, you will be getting a match score against them, and it will clearly mention the reason behind the match score. So this plays into the role that we or all the decisions or recommendations that AI is giving. Each of them are qualified, and there is a clear reason behind it. And the best part about is even if there are 150 applications on a single day or a single hour, the AI agent will be consistent across all the applications and would be able to view the outcome within minutes. So it helps recruiters really scale and spend more time in engaging with the candidates rather than reviewing the resumes. The next aspect of this is a quick interview in terms of an AI interview. I'll be showing you a quick glimpse of it. Candidates are requested to go through the terms and conditions, and especially the terms of use, where we clearly call out that they'll be taking an AI interview and their video will be recording. Again, this is very important in the light of transparency, as we said. So as part of the AI interview, they'll be requested to provide multiple permissions. This is mainly to ensure that we understand what they are doing and we ensure that they are giving a clean interview. Right. And internet speed is an important aspect as well because it's an AI agentic interview. And we have to carry out the screen recording and the voice measures. So having a stable internet connection is really important. And this is something which we check before every single interview. Yeah. Um, I'll just wait for the connection to check. Yeah. I'll be interviewing for a very junior role just so that I would be able to give a quick glimpse of it, right?
Hello, Saketh Sanka. It's great to meet you. Please introduce yourself and give a brief overview of your background and what brings you to this interview today.
Sure. Hi, I'm Saketh. So I'm currently working as a junior Java developer at Demotech. Over here, I have been focusing on building an e-commerce platform, and there are multiple aspects to it where I specifically work on the search and recommendation module.
What is your notice period?
So I have already completed my notice period, so I'm ready to join immediately.
Thanks for sharing. Let's move on. How many years of total work experience do you have?
So I have a total work experience of close to 4 years, of which 2 years is in program management, where I was handling a database migration project. And the next 2 years is in Java development, which I have highlighted earlier.
Are you ready to proceed with the technical questions?
Yes, I'm ready for that.
If you see a null pointer exception from a chained call like a.getb.getc, what would you check first?
So I'll be starting the check from the end outcome to the first one. So I'll be first checking the outcome of the get.c and then followed by the previous one and then followed by the original part. So I'll be starting from the rightmost part of the chain and then going to the left.
Please share a more direct answer to the same question. If you see a null pointer exception from a chained call like a.getb.getc, what would you check first?
I would be checking for get C part.
Thanks for sharing. Let's move on. If a JSON request body is malformed, what kind of failure should a web endpoint return?
Yeah. So I'll just pause for a while and just to highlight, right? The way the AI agent interacts with the candidate is truly adaptive. And based on the candidate's response, the questions get adapted and the difficulty level gets modified. And it's never a one-way communication, right? In the interest of time, what I'll be doing is I'll switch to the next section as well. But this verbal interview can continue till the AI agent gets sufficient responses across all the skills mentioned in the job description. The candidates will have an option to move to the coding section for all the developer or data scientist or automation QA roles or wherever programming is needed, to be honest. And over here, they'll be able to see a quick glimpse of the question that is out there. We can configure multiple questions. They can choose the language of their comfort over here, and they can start coding. So it avoids them to having to go to another system. They can just start the coding in the same setup without any challenges. And over here, we have implemented multiple types of proctoring measures. If the candidate is trying to copy or change anything, all of those are blocked. So this is a quick glimpse of how the interviewing setup will work. Uh, I'll just take a pause here to see if there are any questions or if there are any comments. Just to give an example, right? One of the large IT services organization, which is around 25,000 members in size, were taking close to 2 weeks in order to carry out their first interview, first L1 interview. But when we implemented the solution, what the AI agent was doing is it was screening the resumes on the go and sending out interview links right within the 5 to 10 minutes of them applying to the job role if they're relevant, right? And the percentage completion or the percentage of candidates who are taking the interview has been far higher as we send the links immediately. And they have drastically cut down their time to first round of interview from 24 hours to sorry from 2 weeks to 24 hours, resulting in faster fulfillment and better candidate engagement as well. That's one quick example of how organizations have used it. With this, I'll just take a pause to see and hear more from all of you. Rishi, if you want to add anything, please pitch in. Yeah.
No, that was great, Sakit. Thank you very much. So we have some obviously poll results. We've been polling our attendees to find out how they've been thinking about certain problems. And I think there are some questions as well that have been raised in the group. We'd love to respond to those. And for the group who's attending, please send in your questions into the chat window, and somebody from our team will pick them up and pass them on to us. Sonali, can we go ahead with some of the earlier questions?
Yes. Yes, we'll just go ahead. So, Saket and Rishi, a few questions. Interest of time, we have about 10 to 12 minutes. And thank you, everyone, for being patient and so attentive. Saket, Rishi, first question that has come in is now that candidates are amplifying the resumes with AI, how does your search and match filter help in that context or filter that?
Sure. So, look, we do understand that candidates use a lot of AI to work on their resumes. Now, there's two types of work that candidates can do on the resume. One is they can try and improve the English and the language, which is absolutely fine. The second is they try to match their resume exactly or very close to the job description itself to score higher on the search and match parameters. We are able to assess this using a sort of proprietary algorithm that checks for GPTness, right? It checks to see if the document was altered using a large language model like ChatGPT or Claude. And it also checks to see whether the changes are more in line with just grammar and English, or they were fundamental changes made to the resume itself to match up to the job description, right? So we are able to identify such changes, and we adjust the score and stack ranking on a search and match depending on that. So in a sense, we are able to identify and we are able to either reward or penalize according to how much LLM has been used.
Okay. Thank you, Rishi. On this, I will just one second. There are a few questions. I'll try and filter those. Okay. The next one is just a minute. There comes another poll audience. Questions are critical aspect of video interview. How does your depth on question bank look like?
Yes.
Saket, maybe you take that one, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think it's very well pointed out because the assessment or the outcome of the interview is going to be as good as the questions that are asked and the responses from the candidates. So one piece which we have observed is it's very easy to create the first set of questions based on a job description very easily from any LLM, whether it be ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. But the true essence of it lies in the aspect on how you are able to create a systemized set of question bank which has varying levels of difficulty based on the job description, and also create a rubric of responses on what are the ideal answers against the question. What answer would you qualify as level, I mean, 4 on 4? What answer will you qualify as 3 on 4, and so on? And after that, mapping the candidate's response against these rubrics is an important aspect. So the way we have approached to this problem is we handled both question bank creation and the rubric creation together, where we have set up vertical specific LLMs where each LLM is trained on numerous sets of interviews, job data, the knowledge graphs that are out there, and the open source material. And within that, each question has been graded in terms of the difficulty and the concepts that it is checking and the kind of responses that are expected against it. So for each response that the candidate gives, so yeah, we validate in terms of whether it's an ideal response or if there is any follow-up question that is required. And that's how we have tackled the question bank problem.
Okay. Thank you, Saket. I see another one from Neha. Neha, thanks for your question. And the question is, how do you identify if the candidate is cheating during the interview if candidate uses other gadgets to clear the interview?
Understood. I think, yeah, proctoring or like ensuring the integrity of interview is an important aspect because no matter how well the candidate has answered, if they're using any assisted systems, it's definitely not a right fit for the company, right? So the way we have done is we have implemented close to 12 to 15 measures of proctoring, and we have broadly categorized it into three methods. First one is a system-based proctoring, where all the basic sanity activities, right? Like whether the candidate has connected an external monitor or a keyboard or a mouse, all of those will be detected at the start of the interview. And if any of these are flagged, the AI system will pause till the candidate removes it. Further, there are several browser level restrictions where we ask the candidate to share the entire browser. And at any point of time, if they unshare it or pause it, we will be pausing the interview. So at any point of the interview, we have a track of what they are doing on the screen. Further, the candidate would be requested to be in full screen mode throughout the interview, and any activities such as copy paste or right clicks are disabled on it. Further, the next piece which we have is video proctoring, where the video of the candidate, as you would have seen during the demo, is captured throughout the interview, and it is processed for multiple checks, whether it be multiple people being present, or if my face is going out of the context multiple times, or if I am constantly looking at a different direction, or like my focus hasn't been on the interview. All of these are tracked and highlighted at the end of the interview. And the final part is audio-based proctoring, where the responses of the candidate are analyzed to see how GPT-like or how LLM-like are the responses. It breaks down the structure of the sentence, the kind of response it is, and then gives a score in terms of how likely they are using an LLM or a uh, external system to actually give the interview. So all these are identified and then highlighted as part of the report.
Sakit, we can take two more. And this is another question that's come in from Rohit. And Rohit wants to know, how are candidates reacting to interacting with AI interviews?
Maybe I can take that question.
Yeah.
When we started with AI interviews, maybe close to a year ago, I think it was very new, and overall candidates were not so excited or not so sort of comfortable doing AI interviews. So our completion rates at that point would be quite low, right? Typically, maybe, 1 in 6 candidates would actually complete the AI video interview. What has happened over the last 1 year is, number one, a lot of candidates have applied to companies where AI interviews are now the norm. In fact, of that company list I showed you earlier, including some of the largest IT services companies in India, they are all using AI interviews for level one. And the time saving and the cost saving for them has been so immense that not only are they using it for external candidates while hiring, they have now started using it for employees who are either coming off projects or are on the bench or have undergone some recent training to assess and see if the candidate skills have truly improved. So now when we send out interview links, the completion rates can be, 1 in every 2 candidates who's applied for a job is comfortable doing an AI interview. In fact, after every interview, we carry out a customer satisfaction survey, and our satisfaction survey results are very, very good. In fact, the few things candidates like about the AI interview, number one, the interview happens very quickly after they apply, right? So if they've applied today, they might get an interview link today itself. The second is that they have complete flexibility in terms of when they can do the interview, right? We found 70% of candidates actually do the interview after work hours, right? Could be 9 p.m., it could be 6 a.m., it doesn't matter. The third thing is, and especially with the coding round, I think candidates like not having somebody watching over them while they're doing a coding round. In the traditional human interview, there is a panelist who is watching them code. Here, there is nobody watching them. They have complete comfort in terms of how they carry out their style of coding, and nobody's really staring down their necks when they interview. So overall, I think there's been a very sharp improvement in candidate acceptance of AI interviews. In fact, when you compare assessments like a hacker rank or a hacker earth or an SHL assessment with AI interviews, AI interviews have a 50 to 60% higher completion rate than assessments. So that's a very strong proxy for us indicating how comfortable people are with doing AI interviews.
Perfect. Thanks, Dr. Rishi. There's one more, I guess we can take that one because that question is largely around the point that from your experience, what has been the biggest bottleneck or bottlenecks that you've seen while implementing this agents? So Rishi and Saketh, you both can address that.
Uh, s- I think recruitment teams are used to doing things in a certain way, and getting people to accept a new way of doing things for us is what we really focus on in the beginning, convincing them that this is a high quality interview, it can be done quickly, and it can help you find the right people, right? To solve that, what we've done is we just integrate our tool into the applicant tracking system. That way, recruiters don't have to use a new tool. Everything happens seamlessly through the ATS, which means their lives really don't change. Recruiters continue to carry out the workflows for hiring as they used to, and our AI video interview just operates in the background. The links go out, the reminders go out, the interview gets done, and the report comes back straight into the applicant tracking system. So, we have found a way to circumvent that challenge. Uh, Saket, if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
I think another aspect, as we were highlighting, right, it's important to ensure that the agentic system is there through and through the entire hiring cycle rather than just as pointed solutions. I think that's one piece where we have observed, but considering the net productivity gain that organizations are visualizing by integrating an entire agentic system, a lot of them are very pro to adapting to this as well. Yeah.
Saketh, is one last one, which would have also come from my side. The part where we all are talking about responsible AI, the part of collaboration between human and agent. So how do you really manage that? And how difficult is it is it a challenge or people are overcoming that combination factor?
Understood.
Human in the loop, yes.
Yeah. So I think, as we said, right, I think when there are six levels of stages where we can go using the agentic hiring, that's where we have stopped at the fifth level, which is where an agent is running the show and helping you accelerate the process, but the decision is still with the human. And AI is giving rational and reason behind every recommendation it is providing, especially with hiring being a very sensitive use case, and keeping human in the loop is really important from that angle. So what we believe in is agents can run the show, can operate at a multiple fold of scale. But the recommendation which is being provided by AI has to be reviewed, or human is the person who has to take the final decision. So that's what we believe in, and we have architected all our systems and agents in the fashion where we actively keep human in the loop. I hope that answers the.
Yes. And Saket, I believe you answered this question earlier with the proctoring part, but there was a corollary to that question where someone wanted to know from the audience, are there any emerging trends or some sort of deceptive techniques those are on a rise when it comes to, agentic interviews and the way people, the fraudulent practices? Is
I
it
think
something
it's
that you're seeing? Yeah.
yeah. I think it's very fair, right? Because candidates are in some shape or the form will always try to identify new methods and new mechanisms to uh, game the system, whether it is human interviews or agentic AI interviews. So it's a continuously evolving cycle. For example, deepfake is something which we have observed to be picking up quite a bit. And we in our system have implementing a setup where we can identify deepfakes, where someone else is taking the interview on behalf of me, let's say. So that's one key trend which we have noticed. And a lot of AI assisted answers or tools that are out there using which the interviews can be carried out. So there are ways in which we can identify whether they are using it, and GPT-ness or the LLM-ness of the responses is one way to identify it. So it's going to be a continuously evolving cycle where candidates will find new ways to identify, game, or like play around the system, and we have to continuously upskill and then implement new methodologies to avoid that. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Saketh. With that, I guess we're on point. There are a couple of questions, but I believe we can get those addressed in a follow-up. So thank you, everyone, for being such a lovely audience and for your questions and your interest. Rishi, Saketh, your closing comments.
Thank you very much. It's really been a pleasure talking to you about something that is so close to our heart. And should you have any questions, or if you would like to see a full demo in action on a job description that you are working on currently, or a set of resumes that you want to run, please do mail us, contact us. Sonali, is there any way for the folks here to reach out to us?
Yes, so as I've written also in the Q&A pad, I'll be sending out the recording to them with our contact details so that
Amazing.
they can respond back to it. It will take about a couple of hours for us to send you the recording.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. It was great talking to you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.